Joined by head coach Jenny Logan from Hollins University women's basketball. They were picked number 12 in this year's preseason poll. Coach, your first year as a head coach in collegiate basketball, not just in the ODAC, but you're no stranger to the ODAC, having played for Gene Willie at Bridgewater College, having been an assistant at Lynchburg College under Abby Pisek-Smith. Talk a little bit about your first few months on campus and your team coming into the season.
Yeah. So I got on campus middle to end of August, and right away, contacted the girls. I had just a list of names and didn't know too much about them. From having been an assistant at Lynchburg, I knew Auburn Smith and Jewel Parfit. Jewel was a freshman when I was at Lynchburg, so I was excited to work with both of them, but aside from that, had no idea what I was getting on the roster as far as positions, anything like that. The first thing I really wanted to do was establish a culture among my team. I really emphasized from the start that basketball was going to be a priority for them and that we were going to be in really good shape. And I think having that young team and 2 or 3 upperclassmen that really bought in has made it a great preseason and a great start to our regular season so far.
You started to touch on that a little bit now about how they're buying into your system, but also want to know what your system is. When you go out there on the court, how do you expect Hollins University to play offensively and defensively?
Yeah. So defensively has been a big emphasis for us. We gave up 68 points a game last year. And the best team in the conference, Virginia Wesleyan, gave up 60, so that's the goal we're kind of going for this year. Defensively, we're going to be playing a lot of man, but smart man, so where we know personnel and we're matching up, which I think a lot of the teams in the ODAC do. And with the caliber of athlete you get in the ODAC, it's really easy to do because they're intelligent and they pick up on schemes quickly. Offensively, I tell my kids if they have it, they can push it. But we are not going to be known as just a one type of team, just a half-court team or just a pushing gun team. We're going to make smart decisions in transition and pull it out when we don't have anything and run our stuff and be really consistent.
We've alluded to that you have a large incoming class this year, a large first-year class. Talk a little bit about who you expect to step up as the season progresses.
Yeah, I have a great freshman class as far as personality and their work ethic goes. They were great in the preseason. Now they're still pushing themselves in practice every day. Some days, just about every day I leave practice and I think we get better, at least in one aspect. Sally Stroge is a freshman from Colorado. She's going to be playing the forward for us this year. She's about 5'8", but attacks the basket really hard and just has a great overall work ethic. She's probably one of our hardest workers in practice every day. And then Nikki Valencia is a freshman who's going to be doing the majority of the ball handling for us this season. She has a great attitude as far as controlling the tempo of a game. She's really that take-charge point guard that you really need to have, especially at a young team. And I'm looking for big things from both of them this year. We also have Emily, who's a freshman from New York, and Raven, who's a freshman from California, who will give us good minutes off the bench, along with Max Nagel, a freshman from Northern Virginia, who will be a great shooting force for us off the bench.
We mentioned earlier that you are first-year head coach, but you're very experienced with the ODAC. You've played for 4 years, been an assistant, now a head coach. So you've been just about everything you can be on a basketball floor except the trainer, probably. Talk a little bit about your views of the ODAC this season coming in, and maybe some comparisons from when you played to what it is now.
Yeah, obviously I was out of the ODAC for a year, so I'm a little behind the times as far as some players go, but I still definitely remember a lot of players from being here in the past. I think the top teams are obviously very tough. They have a very balanced roster, and that's definitely hard to break into. But the great part about the ODAC is I think it will continue to be like this. Any night anybody can win if you show up and you bring your A game. And that's something I'm trying to instill in my kids, and I think that we have a shot at a lot of games this year if we are consistent and do what we do best. So.
Well, Coach, I want to thank you for joining me today, and good luck this season.
Thank you.